This is iOS 26 and it's undoubtedly one of the biggest redesign of iOS since iOS 7. So I have been using the new iOS 26 for 1 month now, and I can confidently tell you that it's about to make the iPhone near you look and works entirely different, because you can now fill and sign up forms without needing to use your iPad. Set alarm durations up to 15 minutes. The clock also changes sizes depending on the notification. And in iMessage, you can now create interaction posts right in your conversations. On top of all that, entertainment on the iPhone is now on a new level, with a music app that shows live lyrics with pronunciation, animated album art, and auto mix that transition between tracks like a real DJ. So if you just updated your iPhone or are about to, let me walk you through the 3 most impressive things you should know and how they now works. Plus everything that's new, including some hidden gems that I can't believe Apple has added in the new iOS 26. And oh, I will be trying out the new iOS 26 on other iPhones. So make sure to subscribe if you do want to know what to expect when using iOS 26 on your older iPhones. Alright, so we are starting from number 3, the new home screen. So Apple is calling it liquid glass. So when you move your iPhone to left or right, all icons and widgets get shiny effects on them. So here is a quick look at how you can customize it to your liking. So if you tap and hold to switch to edit mode, you will realize that the options are now for at the top left corner of the screen, and the new one is edit wallpaper, but more on that later. So if you tap into customize, you also get some few new features which are very handy in styling of your home screen, like the new toggles for large or small icons, which is now represented by these 2 different size squares. And if you want more dramatic look, tap on the clear option. This is a brand new for iOS 26 and makes everything on your home screen, even the widgets, fully translucent. This is definitely a personal taste, but I'm not a huge fan of it myself. But you can try it out to see if you will like it. On top of all that, you also still get default, dark modes, and tint options. And speaking of the tint options, the colors are now better with iOS 26. So if you want the icons to be one color, I can assure you it will look way better than it did last year in iOS 18. And on the lock screen, the clock now adapts in real time to your images if you use Photo Shuffle wallpaper. The beauty part of the lock screen though is this new spatial scenes where the subject can be separated from the background. So as you move your iPhone from left to right, it dynamically shifts with a 3D parallax. But if the aesthetic of the liquid glass seems to be distracting you more, you can tone it down by going into settings, accessibility, then display and text size, and turn on reduce transparency. From there on, you will realize that the frosted glass is much clearer and making it easy to see. So moving to number 2, apps and their functionality, starting with the photo app, which is now fixed by the way. There are tabs back at the bottom, so it is usable once again. But the new update is Apple has included a really clever feature that can turn an ordinary 2D photo that you've taken into something that looks and feels like a 3D dimensional. And you can try this yourself by selecting any picture from your Photos app. And then there's this new toggle at the top right corner called Spatial Photo button. Tap on it and it will automatically perform this 3D process. And then as you tilt and move your iPhone around, you will see that it's created a really convincing scene. And this same image can also be used as your wallpaper. So if you press the share button and still selected the 3D image, you will see an option to use it as a wallpaper. But you again have to tap on the Spatial Photo button on the image for the effect to fully happen. Following that, the camera app in iOS 26 looks a lot different. Apple has completely redesigned it from the ground up, and I will be honest with you, it's a little bit confusing but much simplified. So let me show you how it works now. Everything now centers around 2 buttons at the bottom of the screen, both videos and pictures. So now you can swipe left or right to switch between the settings at the bottom, or you can view all of them by swiping around in the bottom of their screen, and by swiping up from the bottom of the screen or tapping on these 6 dots at the top right corner of the screen, you will get access to your new sub menu, and everything else is hidden at the top left corner of the screen. But the sub menus hide items changes depending on whether you select photos or videos. But where things get more interesting is Apple has enabled an AI feature that can detect if your lens is dirty and tells you to wipe it off before taking your photos. So yeah, you don't have excuse to take bad photos anymore. But try it out. Let me know in the comments if you prefer this over the old one. However, it does take an extra step to get used to. The phone app also gets a massive improvement, and here's all you need to know. When you open the phone app in iOS 26, you will realize everything has now been unified. From your favorite, recent to voicemail has been grouped. But if you don't like this new layout, there's option for you to change it back to the old one. Just tap on this button in the top right corner. But on top of all that, there are new hidden features that are genuinely useful. Like if you now missed someone's call and you don't want to forget to call them back, you can now slide the contact to the left and set a reminder directly within the phone app. You can also tap on someone's icon to see their full profile and a call log, showing you how many conversations you've had and how long you've talked each of those times. And finally, you can now set any MP3 file that you have downloaded to your iPhone as your ringtone. But these are not all that are new in the phone app for iOS 26. There are additional 3 new features that make the phone app much usable again. In settings, go to apps and tap on phone and scroll down to calls from unknown number section. So you can now choose from 2 options on how to handle unknown callers. It can either be silent, which was the only option at first, or the new option ask reason for calling. And if you enable ask reason for calling, your iPhone will automatically answer calls from unknown numbers that end in your contacts and ask the caller to state their name and reason for calling. And whilst the caller is done, your iPhone will ring and display what the caller said. So you can decide whether or not to answer. And the second new feature is there is a new call filtering option, which filters out missed calls and voicemails from unsaved numbers into a separate unknown callers list within the phone app. So your main call history stays less clouded. And on top of all that, the third option is the most interesting one. Apple has made it easy for your iPhone to detect when a call is being placed on a hold and give you the option to step away from the call while still keeping your place in the queue. And when it detects a human has returned to the line, to ask them to hold on for a moment whilst it alerts you to come back to resume the call. And surprisingly, this works well and could be a big time saver if you find yourself on hold often. Now the messages in iOS 26 also get a lot of big updates. So now with the new iMessage, you can set up a wallpaper in each of your chats, and this also can be done to your entire group chat. And speaking of group chat, Apple made it easy to send polls. So rather than asking everyone what they prefer to do, you can just send out a poll with a couple of different options for everyone to vote on. And this also comes with an indication showing you what everyone voted on. Additionally, they have added typing indicator in the group chat as well. Plus, you can now copy certain parts of a message instead of the entire thing now. And if we zoom out of the group chat to the main view of the messages app, it should be less clouded with iOS 26. Because just like the phone app, Apple also sorts unknown senders in their section by default in the messages app. But if you don't like this feature, you can turn it off in settings. And just like any other iOS update, Apple also added a new app in iOS 26 called Preview. With this new app, you can now quickly view PDF files and edit them, fill up forms, and sign things without the need for you to use your iPad. I personally see myself using this a lot, but it seems to be one of those good features that I hardly see anyone talking about. Anyway, let me know in the comments if this has been something you ever wanted on your iPhone. But moving up to the Note app, there's now a brand new toolbar just above the keyboard. This makes it much easier to access all the formatting and media options without having to go hunting through menus. For the new music app in iOS 26, Apple has really made even bigger changes that include auto mix, which is DJ transitional grading between couple of songs. And in playlists, you can now tap on the plus button to create a new folder, and the folders can be used to organize multiple playlists into folders. And this tends to be very helpful if you created multiple playlists over the years. And now with iOS 26, your album cover can now also be displayed on your lock screen. So even after it exists out of the music app, you can still see it on the lock screen, which makes your lock screen screen much more appealing to stare at. And if you have a habit of listening to music in other languages you don't really understand, the new iOS 26 will automatically translate the lyrics to the language that you speak. And if for some reason the default snow duration is not enough for you, with iOS 26 you are about to get more snooze time durations with just by opening the alarm as you always do. And down at the bottom you will see a new option for snooze duration, but it will be set at 9 minutes by default. But if you tap into it, you cannot choose from 1 minute to all the way up to 15 minutes. So yeah, I don't know why it took Apple like 20 years to change this one feature. But finally, Apple has also made the new reminder app easy to use. To create a reminder in iOS 26, you don't have to manually add them all by using Siri, because they've now added a new option which you can use to add a reminder from the control center or by mapping it to the action button if you have from iPhone 15 Pro and above. So this is how to do it. Open Control Center and long press to switch to edit mode. Tap on Add a control at the bottom of the screen. Search for reminder in the search bar at the top and you will see a new reminder in the list, and tap on it to add it. So now if you want to add something to your reminder list, just open up the control center and you have a dedicated button that opens a quick reminder window at the top of your screen. And to map this to the action button, just head into settings and tap on action button. Swipe to the control card and then tap choose control. Search for reminder, and when you are done, just long press the action button. Then boom, you've gotten another way to access your new reminder window. But for the last feature, you will need an iPhone that supports Apple Intelligence. So with this feature, you can tap on these three dots at the top right corner of the screen in any reminder list and select auto categorize. When you do this, your iPhone will use on-device AI to automatically sort out your list into sections. And to my surprise, it actually works really well. We've really come a long way. So let's quickly move to number one. AI. Now, I made AI number one because that's the only thing Apple barely talk about during their keynote at WWDC 25. And as a matter of fact, they only mentioned AI 4 times and that was all. But they've used it, for example, making the screenshots of iOS 26 interesting and much more usable. Battery also gets much new features that gives you more information about your iPhone battery, which I will get back to in a minute. So the new iOS 26 screenshot is now having a feature that after taking your screenshots, you can now circle to search what you have screenshots to get more information on it. But this particular feature is turned off by default. So you will have to go into settings, then go to general and scroll down until you see screen capture. Tap into that and tap on screen previews. Then from now, when you take a screenshot, you will see the options for circle to search features. And in my experience, this works very well, so you can try it out yourself. So Genmoji has also been improved to mix different emojis, which Apple is calling mixmojis, and it works by mixing different emojis together to form one unique emoji. ChatGPT also has been added to Apple's image playground, so now the images you get are more fun to use. And in the battery tab, you can now see the whole view of your battery analysis about your usage and compare it to your historical trend. There's also a new power option which Apple is calling adaptive power, and what this does is it looks at your usage and makes small twists in the background which you wouldn't really notice, but it helps to give you an extra juice in your battery when you need it. And your iPhone now also display an estimate of how long it will take to charge to 80% on the lock screen. So there you have it, the top 3 most impressive things in iOS 26 and their functionality. Let me know in the comment which one was your favorite. And if you find this video interesting, like it and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching and thank you for subscribing. See you in my next video. Peace out.